great state. Land of opportunity. Just words on paper. Out here, the land don't give nothing for free. Ain't no justice you can count on. Only a struggle between the desperate and the crooked, between the gun and the badge. This land's been torn apart by outlaws and governments that don't know what side they're on. The blood-soaked ground. It's seen its share of bandits and killers, both with their own way of claiming power. But now, there's something new on the horizon. Something darker, more dangerous. When you hear that bell tower, you'll know it's high noon. High noon ain't just a game, it's a battle for survival. With modular tiles, every map can be what you make it. Characters have designated spaces, so loading up your posse is just a matter of seconds. Card-based combat is quick and simple, and that's just what you'll need, because time is running out. With Against the Clock, you're facing brand new territories, new challenges, and all new ways to outsmart your enemies. First, there's Purgatory, a ghost town left to rot. But in High Noon, it's your new battleground. 13 tiles to change the face of the game. Dusty roads, debris scatter in the streets, and empty, hollow buildings to hide in or die in. And then there's the big prize, a 2-story ruin, letting you take the high ground, shooting from that balcony while your enemies scramble below. You can add these tiles to your maps or build your own ghost town from scratch. Whatever you choose, Purgatory's where the real fight begins. But we ain't just talking tiles. We're bringing something new to the table. Literally. 3D buildings, the bank and the jail, they rise up from the board and add a whole new dimension to your fight. Use them to replace the tiles from your starter set, or add them to make the fight more dangerous, more intense. And then, there's the clock tower, the centerpiece of this campaign. It's got 2 levels of elevation, perfect for the kind of strategy that wins shootouts. Ladders let your characters climb higher and higher, getting the advantage on anyone below. But the clock tower ain't just for looks. It's a game changer, a functional round counter for all 12 rounds of the fight. And there's more. This clock tower, it comes with a little something extra, an exclusive campaign-only weapon. A prototype machine gun, deadly as all hell. The Vindicator. But this ain't just any loot, it's legendary loot. A new class of gear that comes with its own loot crate, and everyone at the table knows where it is. You want to get your hands on the Vindicator, you're gonna have to fight for it. But the clock tower and the Vindicator, you won't see these anywhere else. This is your one shot to claim them. So what'll it be? You gonna stand tall, or fall to the dust like the rest? Against the clock, only the best will make it out alive. Just remember, partner, time waits for no one. Get ready for the fight of your life. Put your pledge on Against the Clock today.
All right, here we are. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know if the audio is coming in. I just want to make sure that the streams are working, the tubes are working, but it looks like everything is good. Looks like everything is good. But you let me know. I can see the comments right. I can see the comments right here. Now, I did have a presentation, like a nice screen share presentation, but it didn't get it. As of what is a crowdfund without issues? Anyway, that's fine because I took notes. I have notes for the topic of discussion today, and that is how do we push High Noon over the finish line, which is what we're going to do. Let's push it over the finish line, and that's what we're going to talk about. So I did want to go over some numbers with you guys. And I just kind of want to jump right into this because I know it's late a lot of places. I know that somebody in the Discord was saying it's 2 a.m. where they are. So thank you very much for being here during this time. And I want to make sure that the comments are pulled up. So give me just 1 second. That's not it. That's not it. Where are you? Where are you? This is once again amateur hour here at High Noon Live. Yay. Okay. All right. Whatever. You know what? If you have questions, hopefully they're pushing in here. 2 a.m. there. Okay. Perfect. So from what I got from this comment is, one, you're here and I can see the comments, and two, you can hear me. So that's good. That answers two things that I just want to make sure of. So I want to talk about, first of all, establish where we're at, and then where we are going. And I just want to make sure that this is not going to play out. Okay, good. Fantastic. So as of right now, the campaign is sitting at a little over $23,000. We're at $23,500 out of our $40,000 campaign fund. Thank you guys very much. That is all because of you. And I really appreciate you guys coming in to support. Now, we are looking at, that's about 127 backers. When I had made my presentation, the numbers were a little different. They were a little lower. So this is good. We got four more backers from when I had it. So I'm going to go based on the numbers that I said. Let's see. Sound quality is good. So is there a link somewhere, or what site is it on? This was just a YouTube recommendation for me. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to post the link here. This is the, I'm posting a link right there. That's the backer kit campaign. If you click that, you can back the campaign. And I don't know if you are a backer already, but that's the link to the campaign. So there you go. You got me too next week when I get paid. Woohoo! So first of all, brief introduction for those of you who are watching this who don't know what this is or who I am or whatnot. I'm Dwight Cenac. I'm the creator of High Noon Game. We did a Kickstarter back in 2020. I canceled that campaign because it was built really on false pretenses. I basically fired the whole crew behind it, and I just took over. I did that campaign. Let's not talk about it, but I took a different approach. And I wanted to be very transparent. I want to be very honest. And I had up to that campaign, I had obsessed over this one YouTube channel called Kick Scammers, where he went through a bunch of Kickstarter games that basically turned out to be scams. And I didn't want to be one of them. And so I saw everything that they did, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I took a year off and rebuilt the whole campaign. I gave everybody who pledged on the initial campaign, even though they weren't charged money. I mean, because I canceled the campaign. So they got all their money back, but I kept a record. I kept a record of every single backer from that campaign, and I gave them all a free copy of High Noon just for believing in the project. I said, listen, we're going to relaunch in a year, and whether you back it or not, the fact that you believed in me enough when I was a nobody and I had nothing to show for it, I'm going to give you a copy of the game. So I shipped off several hundred copies of High Noon that I had put up my own money to produce. And it paid off, because when we launched a year later, we funded the whole thing in like 7 hours. It was insane. And we were able to produce from that campaign, we were able to produce all the expansions that we currently have in our offering that you can get. Well, I'm not going to tell you where to get them, because you can get them at our new Kickstarter, which I put the link here. And I don't want to redirect you from there. So we got all those out. Now, we hit what all these other game developers or game publishers and Kickstarters faced, which was, the COVID crisis. We were in the thick of that. We got hit with the container crisis, the container shortage. We had budgeted like $8,000, which was way more than what containers cost back then. They cost like $4,000 when we had budgeted $8,000. When by the time we were ready to ship out and the container shortage happened, those containers were anywhere from $13,000 to $15,000. I didn't charge a backer a single. I didn't charge a backer another dime. I basically at that point I was like, look, whatever we raised, that's what we raised. Whatever we didn't plan on, that's on us. And so we got hit with a container shortage. We got hit with the boat in the Suez Canal. We got hit with the change in the import taxes, in the U.S. import tax. Like the day before our container landed, they changed the entire import tax, pumped it up like 100%. It was like double what we were anticipating. And then we got hit with the customs. They held our stuff in a warehouse for a month and didn't tell us, and racked up charges on that. We were facing an additional, all told, we were looking at something like $60,000, which was basically what we had raised for production. It was like our entire production cost. We had to pay on top of that another production cost just to release the stuff. And so I ate it all. I paid it all. I was just looking into, and I'm going to call him out. There's Mythic Games. I was just having this conversation with a backer in the Discord about how they had backed Siege 6, and we all know how that went. That is not how we do things here at High Noon. That is never going to be how we do things at High Noon. We whatever happens is like, we believe the buck stops with us. We appreciate your backing. We are planning based on the backing. We planned ahead of time. Any failure on that is on us. That is something that you can always count on with High Noon Game. That is part of our principles. If you want to know about our core values for our company, I've published them on my website. You can go check out the blog that I put up there. There's 2 entries up there, and one of them is about our core values in High Noon, and you can see exactly what High Noon is all about. But basically, what my objective is to raise the standard for game publishers in the world. Now, I know that may sound narcissistic, egotistical, whatever, maybe a bit pie in the sky, but if I can lead by example, we're going to make mistakes, but we're always going to own up to it. So anyway, I wish... Man, that's harsh. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to make you feel like you got 800 pounds worth of stuff in High Noon. How about that? You're going to get that and more in our campaign. So anyway, we released everything, and now here we are with the next round, the next crowdfund. And what we're doing with this one is I want to pay off some of these debts. I did take a huge hit. I did eat these costs. I didn't put them on the backers that already paid for their stuff. So what I did was I created a whole bunch of new stuff. I built in the costs that I paid for all this stuff into the cost of production, all these things. And I made a strategy that if this is successful, if we can fund this campaign, I will have been able to get all of you some incredible High Noon product that we have in inventory right now at an incredible discount, upwards of 25% off retail. I'll be able to produce a whole new line of product, which you just saw in the trailers, and get those to you backers. And I'll be able to pay off my debts. How about that? So, and we'll also hopefully have a war chest for moving forward. And that's some things that we're going to talk about today. But that's the objective. That's the objective for this campaign. And we're halfway there. We're more than halfway there. So thank you, Eric. I really appreciate that. You've always been a good friend. I appreciate you, brother. And that's another thing about this, about High Noon. The thing that sets us apart is High Noon is a game publisher where you have access to the owner. Okay, I'm me. Okay, I'm the creator of High Noon, and I'm right here. I'm talking to you on this thing right now. But we have a Discord server. I think I posted in the link in here. If you don't see it, ask for it. I'll post it again. But you join that Discord server, and you will be in my back pocket. You'll be on my cell phone. You'll be right here. As a matter of fact, you'll be on this cell phone and on this cell phone. You'll be on 2 phones. You have 2 ways to get to me. We have a Facebook group. I'm a part. I run and I operate. So you know, I want to be the most accessible game publisher in the world. If I can't set the bar for all the other game publishers in the world, I want to at least be the most transparent and most accessible publisher in the world. And so that's it. That's my pledge to you. If you have any problems, any issues at all, I'm always there. And that's what. And so, like Eric, I know all my backers almost. They're about. So if you want to be, we're a family. We're a posse, as I call it. So that's me. That's an introduction to me. That's an introduction to High Noon. High Noon is, for those of you who don't know, it's poker meets chess in the wild, wild west. My godbrother came up with that. And even though it has no dice, you'll never play the same game twice. Pew, 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 pew. So that's the game. It's incredibly simple. It's focused on fun. There's no player count, so as many people can play the game of High Noon as you have posses. Okay, so as long as every player has a posse, you can have as many people you want at the table, however big the table is, as long as the table can fit them. Heck, play on the floor. Okay, play outside. Go outside. Go see nature while playing High Noon. Find a park floor ground and just put the tiles down and play with 100 people, and you'll be there for like 3 weeks. But you'll still be able to play with 100 people because there's no limit to how many people can play High Noon. It's a very easy game to learn, easy to learn, a lifetime to master. So there you go. Anyway, all right, earned it. Fantastic, awesome. Welcome to the posse, Goldie Socks. Let's go over some. I want to go over some numbers, and I did take notes so we can blast through this thing. And again, if you have questions, comments, leave them right here. I see them. I want to engage with you. I'm open to you. Okay. So our objective is to reach 40,000. Now, I'd love to reach more than that. We were just talking about Siege 6, which got $1.5 million to rip off the world for a scam. Why do these scams get so much money all the time? Okay, I get it. I don't have an IP, all right? My game is not Rainbow Six. I wish it was. But it could be white labeled. It could be white labeled as Rainbow Six if we got there, all right? So that's another thing. Like, that's another reason why this needs to be successful. Anyway, so we are going for $40,000. That is our objective. We are over halfway there. When I was making these notes, and the notes are, I mean, the number's different. It's climbing higher and higher right now. But I'm going to keep it to mind, okay? Just don't look at the page right now unless you're going to pledge. Just go by my numbers. So we were at $23,000 when I wrote this down, and our backer count was 123 backers. Okay, and again, I wish I had my PowerPoint presentation so we could have pictures, but you're just gonna have to look at this ugly mug. All right, but get a pencil and a notepad. All right, get a sticky notepad and write this stuff down. All right, so what that means, $23,000 at 120 backers, that is $187 per backer average pledge. Okay, now there's no pledge on the. If you go there now, you can. I give you permission. I bless you. Go. But if you go there now, you'll see there's no pledge that is $187. But that's the average. That's the average pledge. So based on that average pledge, what we need are 91 additional backers to reach our goal. We're sitting at 123. So very healthy past the halfway mark. I believe that we can get there. I believe that we can surpass it. And I think a lot of people are waiting to see if we unlock any stretch goals. That's generally the mentality of people that go to Kickstarters or crowdfunds. Is they hold off because they want to see, well, what's unlocked? What else do I get besides what I'm pledging on? And that's heck yes, 128. Yes, we are at 128. I know my numbers are inaccurate. Okay, they're old. I wrote it 30 minutes ago. Actually, like 2 hours ago. So we need 91 backers at that average pledge of $187 to reach our goal. Okay, and that number's falling. Look at that. Okay, I would have to recalculate. Okay, I don't know what the number, but we're about there. So I think a lot of people are waiting. There's a lot of hesitancy because we're not fully funded yet. Granted, we're still in the first 48 hours of the show, and I'm not stressing. This is a very low bar to reach. I'm fully confident that we can reach 40,000 by the end of 30 days, but I'd like to get more than that. We'd like to get over that, right? Because we do want to unlock stretch goals. But I think that's one of the things that gets people to hold off is we're not unlocking stretch goals. So they're like, oh, I want to wait. And so I wanted to talk about there's a reason why that is, and a reason why that doesn't matter with this campaign. And I kind of want to help you understand that. So that if you're holding off on your pledge, or if you're going to talk to somebody and they're holding off on their pledge, you can explain it as such if I'm not talking too fast. So I want to talk about what makes this campaign different from others. And when I'm talking about that, I mean, right out the gate, our campaign is significantly different from something like Mythic Games because we're not a scam. So there's that. So one of the things that makes us different is usually, especially if you're not talking about, that's a scam. But let's take legitimate campaigns that are out there that are producing. And this is no shade on them. This is just par for the course of what it takes to produce something when you haven't produced it yet. So these campaigns will go out there. They have an idea, they have a dream, and that's fantastic. But once they collect the money, then they actually have to go and produce it, right? They have to go and make the game pieces, do some quality control, and this is if they've got the game ready to go, right? If they've got the game ready to go into production, they've done the play testing, they've done the balance testing, they've done all that. So if they've already done that and they're ready to go into production, well, and I explained this in one of my last streams about why I pushed the posses, the expansion posses, way into the back of the stretch goals, is because when it comes to producing miniatures, miniatures are cheap. Okay, they're super cheap to make, and it always boggles my mind that these campaigns act like they're giving you something for free when they raise like $100,000 or $75,000, $25,000, and you get a single mini. Okay, that's insane. Those things cost 10 to 15 cents a piece. They're making bank on you. That said, one of the things that they cannot avoid, nobody can avoid it, I can't avoid it, nobody can avoid it, is there's a process to produce those. Come on games. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, their business model. I wish I thought of it first. But when you want to make a game with minis, there's a whole process to doing that, and it's the injection mold process. And so what happens is you send them. I have to, like a producer, a publisher would have to send. I'll put it in my perspective. I'll put it for me. I have a factory. I want to make some minis. I send my 3D files, my 3D model files to the factory. They take those 3D model files and they create wax molds, little wax model versions of the figures, and they send those back to me for approval. Now, if I approve it, great, we go to the next phase. But if I don't approve it, if I'm like, hey, we need to tweak this, it goes right back to the drawing board where they have to redo that whole process. That process of creating that wax miniature generally takes somewhere between 20 and 30 days, okay? 20 and 30 days just to make the little wax figure. And then they got to send you a bunch of them because a bunch of them are going to break on the way in transit. Sometimes they'll all break, and then they have to send you a whole new one. And you're waiting for that, right? Like, it takes time for the factory to get those wax models to you to approve. That could be weeks on top of the 30-day process to make them. So let's say that I had one revision, okay, one little tweak. Now you're looking at 2 months because there was the first month for the first prototype, the second month for the second prototype, right? Then I approve it. And that's not counting the weeks in transit. Then I approve it. Now they have to go through the process of making the injection mold, which is this big metal brick. And they have to like cut it and make it into the thing where they actually make the minis from. That is another several weeks to do. So you're looking at 3 to 4 months just to get to the point where they can start producing the miniatures. And then you have a production timeline of like 30 days. That's generally what they do. So you're looking at roughly 6 months just to get from start of a concept of funding, like from start, like end of campaign, you get the money, 6 months to get to the point where they can ship out the stuff. And that's if it's just minis. We're not even talking about packaging, okay? Because then they got to get the minis, and then they got to do the packaging based on the minis, and that's going to take some time. You're talking months and months and months, possibly years. Like the average we're looking at is 6 months to, I've seen as far as 3 years, or if you're Mythic Games, never. Okay, so that is the baseline for expectations for campaigns. With ours, you're not looking at that, because one of the main things we're doing is a lot of the pledge is our stuff we already have. Right, we're trying to produce expansion tiles. We're trying to produce the clock tower, the 3D buildings. That's all cardboard, cut cardboard. I'm working, like, we've got the prototypes ready to go. Like, once that's official, once that's cleared and the artwork is in, we can start cutting those. I'm still going to base it on like a 6-month window, but that doesn't mean you have to wait 6 months to get everything else. We already have everything else. So we're going to start shipping everything else to you right after the campaign's done. Like right as soon as the money clears, we're going to start working on going through the pledge manager, finding out where you live, hunting you down. No, finding out your address and contacting you for some shipping options. You're going to tell us how you want it shipped. We're going to tell you how much that costs. Once you approve it and you pay, we ship it off. This process can take weeks. Okay. The objective here is we can get you high noon goodies, tons of high noon goodies, in time for Christmas. So you can get this for you, and you can get it for a loved one. All right, you can buy more high noon, buy lots of high noon. So that is a huge difference between us and other campaigns. Finally, and this is the big one. This is the one I want to talk about the value of the pledges, because, like I said, a lot of people look at the pledge and they're like, well, you didn't unlock things, and so is this really worth it? And that's usually because a lot of these campaigns, they'll what do you call it? They'll bloat the value, the number, they'll bloat the price of the pledge to where the game's not really worth that. Right? Like if we look at if we looked at Siege 6, okay, and I'm going to use them as the example for this because we all know that they're a scam. Okay, I have no qualms with calling them out for anything at this point. But Siege 6, if you look at everything it had, you're talking about, okay, $70 for the core game. I don't know what that comes with, actually. Let's look at their all-in. So their all-in was $270, and that was before they scammed everybody for hundreds of dollars more, on top of everything they already paid for, plus shipping and all that. But basically, you got how many minis? Like even if you got like 40 minis, 50 minis, 60 minis, 100 minis, you're not, and cardboard, it's not a $270 game. It's just not. So like, and by the way, that all in is only if you get unlocks, right? Like it was only if you're paying 270, hoping that you get these unlock stretch goals to justify the price that you're paying, this bloated price that you're paying. Because if they didn't unlock anything, if all they did was reach funding, which was not 1.5 million, right? If all they did was reach funding to make the core game, you paid $270 for a core game. I can understand if it's $70. I could see that. I could see a $70 board game. High Noon is $75. And people might be like, what? Why? Because there's no player count, and you will never play the same game of High Noon twice. Ever. You will never play the same game of High Noon twice. You don't need all these expansions. You can literally just get the starter set right there and play it forever. Okay? This is a terrible sales pitch for my all-in pledge level. But the point remains, like, it's a $75 game. I can understand Siege 6 being a $70 game, but it's not a $270 game. People were pledging that because they wanted the stretch goals. Okay? They wanted all the other stuff. Okay? Because that's what justifies the value. Now, what I did, my original campaign was something way out of left field. But this time around, if we look at the campaign, and I will pull this up. Okay, I will share this. I'm going to share the screen here. Let me share. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. All right. So let me make it bigger. There we go. So if we go to the pledge levels, what you're going to see is we've got an entry level pledge, $30. You get a signed copy of my book, and you get a set of poker cards. That's probably the most inflated pledge ever. That's probably the one that's not the biggest bang for your buck. Okay. But if we come down and so the Buckaroo comes with a bunch of upgrades for the game. The Outlaw is for people who already have the game. But let's go to the all-ins. All right. So we have a $446 dollar pledge. Okay. And that's a lot of money, right? Like that's a lot of money. And so I can understand if somebody looks at that and goes, but you haven't really unlocked anything. So is that really a good deal? Well, I did the numbers. I pulled the numbers on this pledge, and the actual value of this pledge right here, without the stretch goals. Okay, we're not even talking about stretch goals. The monetary value, retail value of this pledge is $538. Okay, so even if we didn't unlock anything, you're still getting a good deal. $538, it's like $90 off. You get like $100 discount on the all-in pledge. Now, yeah, you're going to pay for I mean, European backers, you're going to pay for the VAT tax, but you're going to pay that anyway. The actual value of this pledge is you're getting a great deal just on this alone, even if all we did was just reach funding and not unlock anything. Now, I did some other numbers on the stretch goals, and if we unlocked just down to here, if we unlocked these, okay, if we got to 158,000, and that's where we got, if that's all we did, we unlocked the reprints, we unlocked the expansion loot, we unlocked the water tower, we unlocked the bounty missions, we unlocked the backwater tiles. The value of an all-in pledge at that point, retail value, is $616. So you're still looking at an incredible deal for the for 445. Siege 6 has 60 minis. Okay, that's a lot of minis. That's yeah, and I can see that as possibly being like $100 game for 60 minis because they're plastic. They're just little pieces of plastic. How many minis in the Maverick? Let me do a quick calculation. So let me go down the line. So we've got the Blood Creek Bushwhackers have 4. Abernathy has 3. And then I'm going to go over this and I want to tell you something else. Jenkins Brothers has 3. Monko McCat have 2. I think it's 28. Let me see. Bandera Blondes have 4. Montana Azul has 5. Father Franklin has 2. Grizzly Greenwood has 4. And then you have 14 in the base game. So you're looking at 41 miniatures, okay? High Noon has 41 miniatures. It has a ton of tiles that are compatible with any tabletop board game, any role-playing game, Dungeons & Dragons, tabletop grid, square grid. I based on a 1-inch grid. Entirely modular. And again, you'll never play the same game twice, ever. Doesn't matter if you have just 2 posses on the board. There's reasons for that. There's mechanics in the game that make it so. And this is something that wow, 41 minis and half what you pay for a seat. See, there you go. Like, you know, I sometimes fall into the trap of being an apologetic for my game, but I'm always reminded that the value is here. Like, the game is a great freaking game. And I'm not saying that just because I made it. I go to these events, I go to these conventions, and I tell people, like, one of the greatest rewards for me is going to somewhere and just seeing people I've never met, I don't know, I have no connection with, they don't know me, I don't know them, and they're seeing it, and they're playing this game that I made, and they're laughing, and they're cutting up, and they're making memories that, like, it's like, wow, I did that. Like, I made the world a better place, kind of. It's a very rewarding feeling, and it's High Noon. And honestly, I can't take credit for any of it. God put this in my brain. There's a whole story there. It's on my very first Kickstarter. You can read about it. But I'm just the messenger. I'm just the pale riding messenger. But so when you're looking at this value for High Noon, the pledge at its level is worth sticking with. Like, you go all in, get the Maverick pledge. If you already have the game, get the Legend pledge. It's worth getting and just sticking with it, even if we don't unlock anything. And here's another reason why. Because all this stuff we already have. So you're literally going to get the vast majority of your pledge right away. Where else can you get that? What other campaign can you get that with? I'm telling you all this, not to brag or whatever, but to get you excited, because, you know, the whole reason why we're on this stream is for me to talk about, like, how do we get this over the finish line, short of asking you for more money? Because I'm going to do that here, but we want to go over other ways that we can do this without you giving more money. Right? You've already given tons of money away, right? You're going to give me tons of money. I don't want to ask you for more money. I want to figure out how we can take other people's money. So that's that. That's the value of this pledge. It's a no-brainer. It's the 20, and on top of this is just the pledge. You can then go into the add-on section and if we look at the add-ons, and this is another part of this thing, let's go back to it. We look at these add-ons. Look, everything is 20 to 25% off of the off of sticker price, off retail. If you want to get High Noon, if any of you are watching this and you've known about High Noon and you just haven't pulled the trigger, pun intended, there's no better time to do it, because you can literally get everything at the cheapest it will ever be. Like it will never be this cheap again. Again, I don't want to say that on record. Actually, it might become this cheap again if I do another Kickstarter. But like right now, this is the best time, and we're right before Christmas, guys. So if you want to find a great gift for somebody you know and love that loves board games, here you go. Get whatever pledge you want. Get the Maverick pledge for you, and then grab a copy of the game for a friend. Okay, they're gonna thank you. They're gonna love the freaking game. It's a great freaking game. Okay, so everything on the add-ons is 20 to 25% off retail price, on top of the value of the pledge itself. So like this is how we can get this over the finish line, by sharing with people, telling them look, man, it's a great game. And this Kickstarter isn't just about raising money for new stuff. They're literally using the stuff they already have to raise the money, and they're selling it off. It's like a fire sale. It's like a clearance. And what a crazy concept, right? It's like we're doing a clearance to grow the business. Like we're not clearancing out to shut down. We're growing. We're developing new product. We're developing the brand. We're expanding out. And that's where I go into the next section of this live stream, where I talk about the purpose of this campaign. I think it's definitely going to grow over the next 20 days. I have no doubt that we're going to reach our goal. I want to crush our goal. I do want to unlock stretch goals. I do want to get there. I know a lot of people were asking about posses, and the posses are way in the back. So I want to get at least some things that are out. I'm telling you, like some of these stretch goals, okay? Some of the stretch goals are crazy. Like they don't look like much because they're not minis. They're not a mini. It's not a posse. No, these things are awesome. They add so much replayability to the game. Many of these expansions change the entire way the game is played. One of the biggest overlooked expansions that I have on the market is the marketplace. There's so many people who look at it and they just walk right by it because here it is, because it doesn't have minis. It's just a box. It's like, well, what is it? And you look on the back and it's like, oh, you get these shelves and these little ashtrays. Okay. No, this is, I played this. I got somebody to play this at a convention and they were like, this is the best expansion you have. I was like, I know. Nobody plays it because it doesn't have minis, but it has these really cool 3D shelves, which are cool. But what this does is in the game, your characters can go around the battlefield and there's like little loot boxes, and you flip over the loot box and you draw cards to see what kind of loot you can get. And it's always randomized. You never know what you're going to get. And there's a ton of loot. There's so much loot. My God. And so that's one of the ways that is, again, you'll never play the same game twice, because you're never going to run into the situation where you're going to have the same characters drawing the same loot in the same situation. But the loot is game changing. Like you can have like a really weak guy who's on the verge of dying. He's like bleeding out. He gets to a loot crate, flips it over, and he finds himself with a break action shotgun that he blasts somebody in the face with and turns the tide of the battle. He can win the game. What the marketplace does, that's all luck based. What the marketplace does is it actually allows you to use the gold. The purpose of the game is you get gold, and gold is like victory points in the game. What the marketplace does is it actually turns that gold into currency, where on your turn, as a free action, you can use that gold to buy items, specific items that you want, and place them on any of your guys, whichever guy you want, as long as he has inventory slots. And then use that stuff immediately. Like you can run up to somebody and then you can buy a sawed-off shotgun and blast them in the face with it. It's amazing. And at the end of the game, you're not trading victory points for equipment. At the end of the game, all the gold that's on that the ashtray, you have on the ashtray, it's separated gold earned and then gold spent. You just slide that gold over to gold spent as you spend it. But at the end of the game, you still count up all the gold on the ashtray. So you're not penalized at all for using the gold to buy stuff. It's it's just a way to like add like this crazy, this crazy chaos to the game. You only saw this on Friday. Well, hey, that's backer kit marketing at its work, at its best. How does the market work? Do you have to go to place in the tiles or just spinning a reel? Yeah, so that's the other thing is there's 2 rule sets for the marketplace, and either one of them is optional. So the first one is you can just make it so that you can buy it at any time from anywhere. The other way you can play it is if there's 3 expansions, Monko and McCat, the Jenkins brothers, and the Abernathy gang, their starting tiles are the storefronts for the marketplace. So the Abernathy gang, it's the guy with a suit of armor, so he comes with the blacksmith. Right? The Jenkins brothers, they're a bunch of moonshiners, so they come with the general store. Monko and McCat, they're a couple of bounty hunters, so they come with the gunsmith. So if those tiles are on the board, what you can do optionally is there's a zone control rule where if you put a certain amount of guys into, or a certain amount of gold value of guys into that store, you lock everybody else out of buying from that store. You don't need to be in the store to buy anything, but you can keep other people out from buying things if you put your guys in the store. That's how it works. So it creates a bit of a zone control element to the game. But again, like that little expansion right there that almost nobody looks at. And shame on me because I don't focus on it a lot. I haven't done a video on it. I mean, I'm doing this, but and I don't generally include it in a lot of my demos at events because it's a pain. It's not a pain to set up, but like when I'm setting up and breaking down all the time, that's kind of a pain, especially when people look at it and they're like, I don't want to play it. So it's a great expansion. It's fantastic. Yeah, you love it. And going back to one of these stretch goals. Let me go back to the stretch goal here because I want to show you this. If we can get to 83,000, we unlock the bounty missions, and I've been play testing that with my friends and family, and that's basically secret missions all day long. And you get to draw secret missions into a separate hand that you have, and as you achieve them, you get bonuses. You get more gold. You get power ups. All sorts of things. And this expansion comes with a post office that works just like in the marketplace. If you put guys in the post office, you can keep other people from drawing bounty cards. And the way that works is you can draw 1 bounty card for free on your turn, and then you can draw a second bounty card by using the action of one of your characters. So that character can't do anything, but you get to draw 2 bounty cards. The max you can draw is 2 a turn. The max you can have in your hand is 4. You can discard bounty card, but like you can there's that, but you can't have more than 4. And so there's all sorts of elements to it, but like it really drives action in the game. It's an amazing expansion, and it will be overlooked because it doesn't have minis. But I put it here because it's an expansion that I can produce really quickly. It's a deck of cards and a tile. I can make this very quick. And that's kind of the point of this campaign is even the stuff that's not ready to ship now, we can ship out very soon. All right. So the purpose of this campaign is 4 things. Okay. The very first thing I talked about, I'm trying to pay off my debt. All right. I mean, it's not debt now. It's just lost but I'm like, I owe myself money that I used from my own personal finances to cover these massive unforeseen costs from fulfilling, right? So I'm trying to raise money to pay that off. And I do have one outstanding balance, one outstanding bill for one of our fulfillment partners. I'm trying to pay that off, right? So that's the first objective. If we reach funding, this is all covered, okay? Also, we ran out of starter set tiles. I still have some in my international warehouse, but that is something I'm trying to get reprinted. There was a snafu in fulfillment. People were giving the fulfillment centers were giving out duplicates of the starter set tile instead of our chips and gold packs, and so we lost like 300 or 400 copies of the starter set tiles are gone. So I got to reprint them. So that's another thing we got to do with this campaign. Now we go into the future. Why are we clearancing everything? Because we're trying to grow. So one of the things we're doing is, as you saw in the video, we're expanding the product line. Our main objective here is to expand the product line from what we have to even more. I've told people this in the past, like I don't want to have to go groveling at the feet of a major retailer to put High Noon in their stores. And people kind of like my initial backers caught the vision on this. Like they weren't backing a game. Like, a lot of these campaigns, they're like one-offs. You throw down a bunch of money for this game and it's fear of missing out because they're not going to produce it anymore. Like it's one and done, right? That's not what High Noon was about ever. High Noon has always been about backing a brand. That's why every box has the High Noon brand on it. And in an even bigger, but it's a smaller logo on there is, you'll see it's the white label system, because the whole point of this system is that it can be white labeled and reskinned to be any other kind of thing. We're going to do High Noon for now. And then we're going to go into the bootlegging era and call it High Crimes. We're going to go into outer space and call it High Moon. And then we're going to do some interstellar, like space battles, called that High Orbit. We're going to do a Die Hard version called High Rise. We have a zombie module called High Fever. We have the Pirates version called High Seas. Like, we have a whole future for this. It's not going anywhere. And that's what the backers really saw the value in. And that's what, and that's what I'm expressing to you guys is like, that's the purpose of this. The only way you can do that is if you expand the brand so much that it cannot be ignored. And so I don't want to go groveling to a Walmart or a Target or a Barnes & Nobles to put a box of High Noon smudged in between a million other games so that people see analysis paralysis when they walk down the aisle and maybe they trip over a game of High Noon. I want somebody like Walmart coming to me and being like, listen, we'll put you we'll put you in the, like, we will give you the aisle across from Lego. I want people to go into a store and all they see down one whole aisle is nothing but High Noon. That's where I'm trying to get this game. Now, we got a ways to go to get there. We're not there, but we get there by producing tons of different product. And so that's why we're releasing the Purgatory tiles. That's why we're looking at releasing the Backwater tiles. That's why we're trying to get to the 3D buildings, because the 3D buildings are going to be a really great piece to put on the shelves. Okay, the bank and the jail. If we can get to there, then we'll start looking at going into the other buildings that are in these other expansions. But this is a trial. This is a tryout with the bank and the jail. Now, that said, we do have an amazing Kickstarter backer. His name's Ron Palma. He has a company called 3D Design. He made all of the buildings for all these kits, all these sets. Every single building in High Noon, he made a wooden kit for it. They're beautiful. They are showstoppers. People stop by the game and they want to play the game just to play with the buildings. And we're looking right now at ways to produce them for cheaper, to make them more accessible to people. But that, these are products that we want to put into these stores, the shelves of stores. And so the other way that we can dominate the market and get this in there is through event sponsorships. And that's another thing that we're trying to do with this campaign, is raise money, not just to produce the game, but to start putting down serious coin on various sponsorships with various board game events. And we've already put down money on certain events. Like we've already got a timeline going into 2025, but I want to go bigger, and that costs money. And so that's another thing that these funds are going to go to. Now, you may be thinking like, why do I care? What does this have to do with, this stuff here? Who cares? Because again, let me go back to the part where I illustrated how what you're getting for what you're paying is crazy good. Like, who cares what I do with the money? As long as I produce, the new stuff and get it delivered to you, obviously. But this is like, if we can get to the higher, like when we're talking about pushing, we want to go across the finish line, right? We can get to the finish line. I've achieved the first three items on this list. We paid off the debt, we've reprinted the products, and we've expanded the product line. But if we get across the finish line, now we're talking about economies of scale. Something that somebody like Siege 6 should have been able to do. You raise $1.5 million, and a 15-cent mini is no longer 15 cents. It's 2 cents. Okay, and your 3 to 6 month, your 6 month to a year timeline for production is not that anymore. It's more like 2 months. Okay, that is like, that's the economy of scale. If somebody's actually doing their job and they're operating ethically, like, there's a lot you can do with that volume of money, but only if you get there, right? So that's another reason why I held back with the first McGrady expansion at 500,000, because I want to have economy of scale by the time we get to Governor McGrady. Is Governor McGrady going to cost me $500,000 to make? No, he's not. Okay, he's not. But if we get to 500,000, I will be able to do so much more for you guys. Like, I will be able to produce so much more for you. I will be able to get you so much more valuable content. I'll be able to get this out there to the community, the industry, so that you're not struggling to find people to play with. Like, I've got people who went all in and they're sitting on, and they're like, oh man, all my friends moved out. I don't have anybody to play with. And I'm like, I'm trying to help them find people, but like, that's what we can do with that kind of money. Yeah. Why can't High Noon be the next Zombicide? Why not? Because we don't have millions of dollars, right? We're sitting at, right now, because, our campaign, and this is, I'm not complaining. $23,665 is a lot of money, but our objective is 40,000. And we're not going to be the next Zombicide at 40,000. We got to, Zombicide raises millions. I think that's the point you're trying to make, is we got to get there, right? We got to get to the millions. And that's where we can really start achieving greatness for you. So that's the point. That's the final point of or objective of the High Noon plan for this campaign. Is we pay off the debt, we reprint the products, we expand the product line, and we pay for event sponsorships. And what the success of this campaign means is we'll have new products to sell, and we'll have tons of new event exposure, and we'll have the opportunity for organic growth and production of expansions on our own timeline. I don't want to be in this place where I have to beg you for money. I want to be at a place where you wake up one day and you get a notification or email that, hey, High Noon, we released this new expansion posse. You're like, oh my gosh, I was waiting for that one. And it's there. And you just buy it and we just ship it to you. Right? we just get it because it's already there. That's where I want to get. And that's what successful campaigns like this can lead to. Now, again, we're not there yet. And this campaign's probably not going to get, this campaign will probably not be the only one we do. We'll probably have to do a few more campaigns focused individually on certain posses, but it all starts somewhere, right? And that's where we're at. I hope this happens for you, my friend. Me too. And I know it's getting late for you there, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. I want to talk about I've been thinking about a retention plan, because we're talking about how can we spread the word? How can we incentivize people to get in, and more importantly, to stay in? Right? Because a lot of people, they look at the stretch goals and they're like, oh, you didn't lock it, I guess I'm out. I've lost a lot of money that way. How do we keep that from happening this time around? So I've got two things we're going to do. And like I said, I wish that I had the PowerPoint thing so I could show you, but I'm just going to say it. So here's what we're going to do. All right. If you guys stay in and we reach funding, this is what we're going to do. All backers who stay on to ensure that we reach our funding, every backer, you're all going to get all the stretch goal and achievement rewards. And I'm going to give you guys all a 25% off promo code that you can use on your very next purchase on our High Noon website. Okay. Now you may be like, whatever, but who knows? You could come in and maybe you only back at a certain pledge level, and you only get a certain amount of add-ons because that's what you can afford today. And you miss out, right? You miss out on the deal of the lifetime, right? The campaign ends and the prices go right back up to retail. Oh, shoot, you missed your shot. Well, no, you don't. Because if you stay in, we reach our goal. And if we reach our goal and you were there to the end, you're going to get a 25% off promo code, so you can extend out the next time you can afford it. You can get some more product at that 25% discount. Now, for all of you all-in backers, okay, anybody who goes all in at the Maverick or the Legend level, and you stay there, you're going to get that as well. You're going to get all the stretch goal rewards. You're going to get all the achievement rewards. You're going to get 25% off for your next purchase. And the next posse that we produce, the very next one, just one, okay? You're not the ride or dies, but the very next posse that we produce, whether it's in the next campaign or it's just on our own, whatever, you're going to get a copy of that too. So you're going to get all the stuff that's included in your pledge. You're going to get all the rewards. You're going to get any stretch goal unlocks we do. And the very next posse that we make, even if it has nothing to do with this campaign, we just make one. You just wake up one day and there's an email. Hey, we produced, the Akuga Shinobi. You're going to get a copy of that. How? The same way that all our all-in backers are getting stuff that from our last campaign, because I've got you guys all on my list. You're all you're on our backer list. I know exactly what you pledged. I got you. All right, and you're in the Discord server. So if you update you change your mailing address, you can reach out to me and let me know. But that's what you're going to do. Nice touch for people who can't afford all-in and the all-in people. Yeah, that's like I can afford this. I don't want to do it, but yeah, this is my way of saying thank you. Okay, my way of saying thank you for sticking with it. So, the question of the hour, literal hour, 56 minutes into this hour. What can you do now that we've talked about that? Now we've talked about the retention, we've talked about the value, we've talked about all this stuff. What can you do to help us reach our goals? The first thing you can do, I told you I was going to do this. I was going to ask you for more money. The first thing you can do is up your pledge. You can bump up your pledge level. You can buy add-ons, even if they're add-ons you already have. Buy extras for gifts and family members. Just think of excuses, any excuse you can think of to give me more of your money. That's the first thing you can do. That's the most direct thing you can do. Okay, but short of that, all right. Let's do. I'm a terrible salesman, so let's get that out of the way. The next thing you can do is spread the word, and I know that's easier said than done. So a lot of people are like, well, how? I don't know how. Okay, here's the first thing. Tell your friends and family. Share this with everybody you know. Be excited about it. If you're excited, if you are watching this, you're still here. I've been talking for an hour. I still got half a dozen of you guys here. You're here because you're excited. You're here because you're pumped up. Be pumped up. Be this pumped up when you talk to your friends and family about this campaign. Direct them right here to this campaign and get them to pledge. Walk them through it. Pledge for them on their phone. Give me your phone. Here, I'll show you. Here it is. See, which one do you like? Oh, you like this one? Yeah, let's get it. All right. Pledge for them. Spend their money for them. But also share this. Share the page. Share the video, the YouTube video, the trailer. It's awesome. My a good friend of mine, Keith Ainley, and I worked on that for 2 weeks tirelessly. I totally neglected my fiance the entire time. But it's okay. I bought her flowers. But we worked night and day on that thing, and it's beautiful. Share it. It's got a link to the campaign in there. Share it. Can you share on X and Facebook? Yes, you can. Share it anywhere. I don't care. Share it wherever you can. But share it, especially when we're talking about Facebook. There are tons of Facebook groups. There's the Board Game Geek group. There's other groups out there that are board game centric. I can't name them. I can't share in them because it's considered self-promotion. But you can, share it. Talk about it. Talk about the campaign. Talk about how awesome it is. Talk about how exciting it is. And then if you know anybody who's a retailer, share it. Share this with the retailers, because we have a super secret retailer pledge. They have to reach out to us to get access to it. But it gives them, it's basically a wholesale opportunity for them. They get one wholesale pledge, and then we have like small unit sizes because I wanted this to be customizable for any scale of game shop, whether they're a small game shop or a large game shop. But they can get the pledge, and then they can add on in small units, so they can put in some inventory at wholesale price. It's a great opportunity for them to get in on the product without having to buy cases of the product. That's the selling point for this, because a lot of places they're like, well, let me see, I want to buy like two units, 1 unit. It's like, no, dude, I don't operate that way. Okay, I don't grovel. I will never grovel. I will never bend the knee and grovel. And so at this point, I've told retailers, like, look, if you want the game, if you want my game, you're gonna have to buy my game like you buy everybody else's games, like you buy D&D, like you buy Warhammer. You don't go to them and be like, I want 1 piece. No, you're gonna buy a case of it because we are a game publisher. And so that's But what I did here is, if they want to buy it, they can come in and they can buy them at like 3 units a piece. And they can add on, they can scale up. They can get 3, 6, 9, 12. But basically that's how they can do that. So talk to Zatu biggest game shop in the UK needs to take a look at this product. Yeah, hey, and if you can walk in there and show it to them, by all means, please share it with them, because that's how this gains traction. So think about different ways that you can talk about High Noon to people, get the word out there, and also join the Discord, direct people to the Discord. And I didn't talk about this here, but I have given updates on it, and I apologize because I should have mentioned it in the stream, because I know a lot of you guys are coming in here and you're not part of this and you just kind of stumbled upon this. But this game is on Tabletopia for free. You can play the starter set for free on Tabletopia right now with up to 3 other players. It's a 4-player game online for free. Tabletopia. You can play it through your web browser or through Steam. We have a Discord server where you can come in and find players. And in the Discord server, I just released a version of the tabletop game for up to 8 players that includes all of the expansions, the purgatory tiles, the backwater tiles, the brand new posses that we're rolling out, like things we haven't even rolled out. You can try and play test right now through our Discord server. Okay, the link is in the comments of this video because I shared it before. But you go in there and you can get access to it. And that's another way if you have people who play games, or if you know anybody who plays games and you want to play and they play them virtually, you can get them into the game right then and there, like right there. You can get on their tables. Do we have many UK backers? Yeah, about 33% of our backers are in the UK. We have quite a bit of backers that are in Europe and the UK primarily. UK and Germany is the big spot. So yeah, we do. And actually we were like, I was just in London. I took my fiance to London. It's where we got engaged, and beautiful place. Went to Westminster Abbey. Oh my God, such history. And then we got a private tour into the bottom of Parliament. That was really cool. You guys, I love the UK. I love it. I love London. A lot of history. Love seeing my cousins. But yeah, we went there. I would love to do some events there. I'd love to meet backers in the UK, but yeah, we got a lot of backers in the UK. All right. So that's it, guys. That's what I wanted to talk about. I'm hoping that we can push this thing over the finish line like this. You've seen the perks. You now have got to know me. The link to the I'm gonna keep a link in the description of this video for backing the game and for joining our Discord server. So the links, both of those links will be in there if you don't see them in the comments. And consider coming in, just come in and join the discussion in the Discord and on the backer kit. Okay. But that's that. So thank you guys for tuning into this. Thank you for hanging out and having a conversation. Really, like I said, we've gotten so far already, and that's all because of you. We just passed the 24,000 mark. How about that? Yeah. 129 backers. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that. Let me add that to the stage. Bam. There we are. 24,000. Yeah. All right. So that said, it is late for you, I know, and it's getting late for me. So I got to go stop neglecting the queen. And I will leave you to it, guys. But there you have it. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment here, or like I said, jump in the Discord. That's where I live. Okay. I talk to all you guys there. I'm the most accessible publisher in the world. I'm Dwight Cenac. Thank you for coming to High Noon Live. And I was gonna lead off with a video, but I fudged that. Oh yeah, one more thing.